Tonight on Texas News Channel, how students have coped with the effects of Winter Storm Uri.
Allen police find 6 people dead in their home, including former UT student.
And voting advocates leak video of a GOP official in Harris County recruiting poll watchers.
You're watching Texas News Channel,
your leader for live, local UT coverage.
Your campus, your news. Texas News Channel.
Welcome to Texas News Channel. For Tuesday, April 13th, I'm Alexa Sherry.
And I'm MaKayla Brown. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Since Winter Storm Uri, many students have been dealing with the natural disaster's aftermath months later. Our Stephanie Molina shares with us UT students' experiences after the storm.
It has been about 2 months since Winter Storm Uri, and many UT students are still dealing with the aftermath. Many students' apartments were damaged as a result of the storm, which led them to have a hard time adjusting back to school. UT student Matthew Posse tells us his experience.
I remember one day I was in my journalism lab, and my landlord just showed up at my front door with a plumber. And so I had to leave the lab and go talk to my landlord, and the plumber started fixing things. And so I hopped back in on the Zoom, and there was just a bunch of commotion going on in the background and everything. So it was a bit distracting, but luckily I had Wi-Fi whenever I had power.
The effects of the storm impacted many students' mental health as well, making it hard to transition back to online school. Natalie Tudor tells us how she felt back then.
I remember for a few days, I was scared to sleep alone in the apartment because my roommate was staying with her parents at the time. So this whole thing happened, I was by myself. And that's kind of also part of the reason why I went home, because I was just I just don't want to be in that apartment right now. I don't want to think about it. And that was also part of the reason why the transition back into school is kind of hard, because I just wanted a mental break.
Even after the snow melted, students were having trouble finishing their assignments. Professors had to give extensions to students to accommodate to their situations.
But, as time went on, it was more of kind of this is a normal time now. So everything else is going to be normal, deadlines and assignments and everything. So that kind of sucked because I feel I've just had a lot of stress in the past few weeks, and it's really been causing me to get behind on my work and not do my best quality work.
Although time has passed with online school, the pandemic, and the winter storm, students are barely now getting back into their old routine.
Mm-hmm. It's just tired from the end of the semester. I think everyone's really burnt out. This has just been a long semester.
Stephanie Molina, Texas News Channel.
Mueller Flats Tenant Association and other tenant groups gathered together this Saturday to demand their management companies to address the damages that were done to their homes due to the winter storm last February. Tenants are actively delivering petitions asking for property managers to make repairs, let people with damaged apartments out of their leases, and to give tenants back rent they paid while damages were disregarded. Tenants have described their living conditions as hazardous and are worried for their health. Mueller Flats has yet to comment on the situation.
The Electrical Reliability Council of Texas, better known as ERCOT, will soon argue that it has governmental immunity from at least 35 lawsuits filed against them since this past February. ERCOT came under fire after Winter Storm Uri knocked out Texas's power grid. It was reported that 70% of their customers lost power during sub-freezing temperatures, leading to potential bodily harm and even fatal outcomes. ERCOT is also asking for the Texas Supreme Court to combine the nearly 36 lawsuits into a single litigation to avoid several court proceedings.
The 36-acre wildfire that spread in Bastrop County last week is now 95% contained. According to Texas A&M Forest Service, the fire was first reported as 100 acres, but since that measurement, crews have updated that status. The fire reportedly started as a cooking fire. 24 homes were asked to evacuate this past weekend. Now, the evacuation has been lifted. However, there's expected to be smoke for the next couple of days. Officials say people should be cautious when cooking at home outside this summer and should not leave any fires unattended.
Police in Bryan, Texas are investigating a mass shooting that killed one person and injured 5 others, including a DPS trooper. Officials say the shooting started at Kentmore Cabinets on Thursday afternoon. The suspect, 27-year-old Larry Ballin, fled the scene after shooting the trooper and was later arrested in Grimes County. The officer shot is now in stable condition, and the suspect is being held at Brazos County Jail on $1 million bond.
House Bill 103 has passed the House and is now on its way to the Senate. The bill, which was filed by Representative Brooks Landgraf in response to the 2019 mass shooting in Odessa, will create an active shooter alert system similar to Amber Alerts that are received on phones. Although the bill was originally projected to cost around $8 million, Landgraf has said that the cost will be less as the system can be incorporated into existing alert methods.
The state of Texas may soon follow the path of several other states in becoming a so-called sanctuary state for Second Amendment gun rights. In response to new executive actions aimed at homemade firearms unveiled by the Biden administration last Thursday, Governor Abbott posted on Twitter calling for legislation to counter these gun control measures. Taking cues from states like Alaska and Wyoming, the Texas House is on its way to considering Bill 2662, which prevents the use of state resources to enforce new federal gun rules. Legal experts believe, however, that the bill will be contested in court.
A Texas House committee advanced a bill that would make it a state felony for local election officials to distribute unsolicited applications to vote by mail. House Bill 6 and other election bills are directly opposing efforts by Harris County in the 2020 election to encourage absentee voting during the pandemic. This bill is the latest effort by Texas House Republicans to enforce election integrity in our state. Opponents of these measures say these bills are attempts at voter suppression following the 2020 election.
On April 5th, St. Edward's University required students and employees to get the COVID-19 vaccine if they plan to return to campus for the fall semester. Following this statement on April 6th, Governor Greg Abbott announced an executive order that prohibits government-mandated vaccine passports in Texas. The university is now reversing their statement, saying they will not deny services to those submitting documentation or a qualifying exemption who choose not to get the vaccine. However, St. Edward's is still urging their students and employees to get the vaccine.
Last Friday, a video leaked of a presentation given by a Harris County GOP official calling on Republicans to recruit what he termed as an army of poll watchers and workers.
So I'm trying to get,
an advocacy group called Common Cause Texas to try and combat the Texas GOP's attempt to implement new voting laws. Some people fear that these poll watchers will use newfound power in the Republican-led voting laws to intimidate voters in more radical, diverse areas. While there is anger over the implications of the language used in the video, the Harris County GOP chair, Cindy Seigel, stood by the comments made.
So I'm trying to get, encourage and recruit as a precinct chair about 30 people in my precinct that will have the confidence and courage to come down and here in these areas where we really need poll workers, because this is where the fraud is occurring.
Ken Paxton's position as Texas's Attorney General may be in hot water as 2 big competitors have thrown their hat in the ring for the next time the seat is up for grabs. On the Democrat side, former Galveston Mayor Joe Jaworski is following the legacy of his grandfather, Leon Jaworski, who is the Watergate special prosecutor. On the Republican side, Jeb Bush's son, George P. Bush, has condemned Paxton and nominated himself as the better Republican option. Paxton remains unfazed for now by dismissing their calls for more ethical behavior as what he calls the narrative being set by the liberal media.
Last Monday, police in Allen, Texas, found a family of 6 dead in their home as authorities responded to an alarming letter posted to Instagram stated that 2 sons of the family were responsible for the deaths. This letter was posted by Farhan Towheed, a former student at UT that voluntarily withdrew after making claims that he would kill his family. Officials said that Farhan and his older brother, Tanvir, made a suicide pact to kill their family and take their own lives. The victims include their sister, their parents, and their grandmother.
The Verizon Media-owned website Yahoo Answers has announced it will be shutting down effective May 4th, 2021. Created in 2005, the Q&A website has enjoyed a 16-year run as a notoriously bizarre platform, full of bad questions and worse answers provided by its users. The announcement of the shutdown has caused mixed reactions on the internet, as some are relieved of its departure and ridiculous nature, while others claim the site's quirkiness will be dearly missed.
Google will be shutting down its shopping app this June for both iOS and Android users. The functions the app offered to its users will only be available through the web version of the app. The shopping app is not the first Google app to be removed from the App Store, such as Reader and Hangouts. Google has yet to clarify the exact reason as to why they are only using the web version of the shopping app.
Coming up on Texas News Channel, Swastika Sah will be bringing you up to date on the world of business.
Hello and welcome back. I am Swastika Sah with your business update. In markets today, we have NASDAQ up by 7.85%, S&P up by 9.92%, Dow up by 10.44%, Bitcoin up by 107.27%, and VIX up by 17.33%. These rises occur due to stocks posting its year-to-date gains. Energy and financials are having a big 2021 after getting hit by tech in 2020. A lot of the rise was also due to COVID vaccinations increasing to 4.6 million on Saturday in the US. Furthermore, the Fed also came out last night saying that the economy is at an inflection point, meaning that if the US is able to defeat the virus, then we can see a huge growth in the job market in the coming months. President Biden released a $1.52 trillion budget request to Congress for fiscal year 2022, which indicates an 8% increase to funding for climate change, the IRS, and other social programs. This budget request is going to face a tough battle in Congress with narrow Democratic majority. Not only that, but Biden will have difficulty passing this budget due to a 1.7% increase in defense spending that has already made GOP lawmakers agitated. Amazon labor battles aren't over just yet. Last week, the union vote in the Alabama Amazon Center failed with 1,798 no's and 738 yeses. Over 500 voters were challenged by Amazon, and according to Vox Media, the retail, wholesale, and department store union plan to file unfair labor practices charges against Amazon over allegations of employee intimidation and manipulation. The group attributed the voter result not as a sign that Amazon does not have working condition issues, but rather that workers were too scared to vote yes. Due to the change in consumer shopping and dining patterns, McDonald's has declined to shut down hundreds of its restaurants inside Walmart. This was particularly due to the pandemic and the rise in e-commerce for retailers and drive-thrus for fast food chains. Walmart said that many of its shoppers now buy their groceries online or have it dropped off to their car, completely taking away the need for them to step inside the stores. Walmart plans to convert the McDonald's location into different forms of restaurants and services with a more regional feel. Last week, Saks Fifth Avenue said in a press release that it is set to stop the sale of animal fur products in their stores by 2022. This move was made after the fashion industry and major designers have publicly stepped away from fur and other materials labeled not sustainable or ethical. While Saks has said that it will no longer sell fur products, it will continue to sell other animal products such as leather, goat skin, shearling, and cattle hide. Saks joins Nordstrom, Macy's, Bloomingdale, and Coach, who have all made pledges to stop using animal fur. And that's your business update. I'm Swastika Sah reporting live from the Business Center. Now over to Kelsey Leffingwell for weather.
Well, Longhorns, will last week's sunny skies continue? Or will we be needing our umbrellas? I'll let you know when we get back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Texas News Channel. Last week, we saw the sun shining through along with some warm temperatures throughout the week. But it looks like those temperatures will be going down throughout this week as we see some rain and thunderstorms coming through. Tonight, expect for the temperature to drop to 62 degrees with a 50% chance of rain. Wednesday, there will be a cloudy day with the high at 72 degrees and a low of 58 at night. Thursday, expect for those cloudy days to continue with a high of 71 degrees and a low of 59 at night. Friday, be sure to look out for some scattered showers and thunderstorms with a high of 72 degrees throughout the day and the temperature dropping to 56 degrees at night. Hopefully this weekend, the rain may go away, but expect for the temperature to stay in the 60s. On Saturday, the high will be 66 degrees with the temperature dropping to 50 degrees at night. And finally, on Sunday, we hope to see some sun poke through the cloudy skies with the high at 67 degrees and the low at 47. So throughout this next week, be sure to keep an umbrella with you. That's it from me, live from the Weather Center. I'm Kelsey Leffingwell.
Thanks, Kelsey. And now looking at UT Sports. Joining us tonight is Clark Dalton. Welcome back, Clark. It's great to have you back on.
Thanks, Alexa. It's good to be here. And coming into this weekend, Texas baseball was on a hot streak, winning their last 5 consecutive games. They hope to add 3 more victories against the Kansas State Wildcats, where, along with their streak, tempers flared. Let's head to the dish for the highlights in Game 1. Now we're going to begin this one with Mike Antico popping it deep. Kansas State can't get it in center field. And this is where the action picks up because Antico slides around. There's a collision with the catcher. And then you can see he gets tangled in. There's a bit of a shove and there's an incident. The benches would actually clear. 6 players were ejected. Not a good look for either team, but nonetheless, Texas steps up. Murphy Staley, Longhorns up 2-1 at this point. He's sending it deep into left field where he sets up Douglas Hodo, who gets the job done, putting the Longhorns up 3-1 at the bottom of the 4th. But Kansas State is going to hang in there with Zach Koskika going deep for a home run into right field. Kansas State now down 4-2, but Ivan Melendez says, hey, watch this. I can do that too. And he goes even deeper into left field, putting Texas up 5-2. He's been playing great on a tear lately. But nonetheless, Kansas State actually came back and led 6-5, but Douglas Hodo is going to put a stop to that. He goes into right field. He's going to slide for the extra base. Mike Antico right down the middle for a single, bringing in Hodo. There are the high fives. And then the only time I will ever get excited over a walk, Zach Zubia with the bases loaded gets a walk. Texas now leads 7-6 as Antico comes in. Then Silas Aroden down the right field line brings in 2 more runners. Eric Kennedy 9-6. Texas is stoked. Aroden with the fist pump. And then guess who? The man who started going to keep Texas hot, Mike Antico down the right field line, bringing in the 3 runners to give Texas a 13-6 victory.
So, Clark, 6 players were ejected. What is your take on the situation?
It was bad. There's just no other way to say it. It was a bad look for both teams, and it was almost a worse look for Texas because, no disrespect to Kansas State, they're not as good as Texas this year. They're a rebuilding team. They're a young program, and really that's allowing them to get in their head. And Texas, you have to understand, lost 3 of their infielders for the next game. I'm not sure, though, I agree with it being an ejection because when the players came off the bench, it didn't feel like it was to escalate the situation. It was to de-escalate the situation. You have to understand, you have to serve that 1-game suspension. So against Kansas State, yeah, it doesn't matter because they're not as good. But if it was against Arkansas or Ole Miss or Texas Tech, it could have been much more costly.
Right. So the Longhorns are ranked number 3 in the country. And are they the best team in the Big 12? And can they go further this season? What do you think?
Without a doubt, they're the best team in the Big 12. And you have to look at their next closest competition. Texas Tech, they lost 2-1 against Kansas State. And that shows they're quite ahead in terms of development in the Big 12. As for the rest of the country, I'm not sure yet because their record against the SEC is concerning. And at the start of the season, they didn't look that competitive. But they're showing signs that they're maturing, they're growing, and eventually, maybe down the line, if they're ready, they can play at a championship level this summer.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Clark. It's always a pleasure having you on. Up next is entertainment with Josh Fowler. We'll catch you after the break, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to Texas News Channel. I'm Josh Fowler. Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, died at the age of 99 on Friday. The Queen announced the death of her beloved husband in a statement from Buckingham Palace. The Duke was suffering from an infection and underwent heart surgery in mid-March, which could be the reasoning for his death. Philip's funeral will be held at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. the Duke will not have a state funeral due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The British Academy of Film and Television Arts, or BAFTA, awards were announced Sunday via a virtual awards ceremony. Nomadland dominated, winning awards for the Best Film, Leading Actress, Director, and Cinematographer. Other standouts from the awards show included Soul, which took home Best Animation and Original Score, as well as the film Promising Young Woman, which won the awards for Outstanding British Film and Best Original Screenplay. The ceremony also included a brief tribute to the late Prince Philip, who served as the very first president of BAFTA in 1949. Celebrity Jeopardy champion and host of the beloved literacy program Reading Rainbow, LeVar Burton, has launched a campaign to become the next host of Jeopardy! In addition to starting a petition and garnering support from celebrities like Dick Van Dyke, Burton went on a mini press tour to make his intentions known, speaking to Entertainment Weekly and The Daily Beast. Although the show has had several guest hosts since the passing of Alex Trebek, Burton hopes to become its new long-term host. Last Tuesday, Forbes released its annual World's Billionaire list, and this included Kim Kardashian West for the very first time. Her worth increased from $780 million to $1 billion in October, and Forbes credited West's beauty line, Skims business, as well as her television show and endorsement deals, which all helped her attain the status of a billionaire. This comes after the scandal surrounding her sister, Kylie Jenner, after it came out that her company was messing with the numbers, which allowed her to appear to have a net worth over $1 billion. That's it from me with your entertainment news. I'm Josh Fowler. Now, back to you.
Thanks, Josh. And as always, we thank you for tuning in.
You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Texas News TSTV.
If you have a news tip, you can reach us on all of our social media sites or email us at news@texasstudenttv.com.
I'm MaKayla Brown.
And I'm Alexa Sherry. From all of us at TNC, good night.